I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. I'm here to show you a really easy and low-tech way to make twisted wire. You can use that to do a braided effect or whatever you like, but I'll show you the easiest and fastest way to do it. So I'm going to show you the super low-tech way to make twisted wire, because you can also do this in a flex shaft, but a lot of times the end pops out and it flies around and can poke you like in the eyeball, and then it's all fun and games and somebody loses an eye. So this is like low-tech. You don't need any powered equipment. So all I'm gonna do is I've taken a piece of wire. Now this happens to be 22 gauge, but whatever twist you wanna do. And you just double it over, and I've got my 2 cut ends. And I'm gonna stick it in this vise and give it a nice squish.
Is that the unfolded end?
The 2 open ends, right? Stick them in there and give it a little, okay? And then you see I have the doubled over end like this. Now, usually what I use, my wire gauge, which if you make jewelry, you have a wire gauge. And you can use a knitting needle or a chopstick or a pencil. But watch this high-tech fuckery right here. I'm gonna slide that through and do that, right? Oh wait, let me take this. Let me just take this drop plate out of here. Pause. One of the things in life that makes me the most happy is the simple mechanics of things. The way the world works is so fascinating to me because I'm a big nerd and dork. But at any rate, so you see how I put the closed end right through there, right? And I put my knitting needle through here, and I lean casually like this, and then I can go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you see how it's twisting and twisting. Now, twisted wire is something, you don't make it all in one round. I would stop now, where we would anneal, and we'll twist. You see how you know that you need to anneal is when you let go of this, it starts to bounce back. It's a little springy. Now, this is 22 karat and relatively thin, so it's not like it's gonna fight you too hard, so then I stop and anneal. Now you notice I was going clockwise. If you ever want to get that braided effect, you're going to have to do 2 rounds of twisted wire. One of them you'll twist clockwise, and the other one, which we haven't done yet, but it's right here, we'll twist it counterclockwise. And that way when you lay the 2 together, it gives you that braided look. I'm sure you've seen that on ancient pieces, and it looks really snazzy, which is what Susie wants, a little schnaz, for her action. So I'm gonna stop and we'll anneal this, and let's put this one in, and I'll show you the counterclockwise, but basically now you know everything about making twisted wire. So to me, it's a lot of one of those scenarios where it's actually better to do the non-electric, low-tech like this, because it breaks a lot less often, and it's just, again, you get to keep your eyeballs, which I think is really important for jewelry making, to have both if possible. Or say something that only the whole world can hear you say. Because last week we were filming, and people in the background were talking about when I was in college, I did hardcore drugs and like all this stuff, which I'm not judging. Then they were like, were you guys filming? Oh my God, stop it! You can't, and I'm like, hey, look, you talk stuff in the background of the studio.
It might get unsafe.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Okay, so this is the one that we're gonna do counterclockwise. Doing it from a different angle, it's totes professional. So I'm gonna squish it in here, like so. Squish, so that it holds it. And you see I have the doubled up end right there. And what people were asking also in the meantime is you can also use the little hand drills with your egg beater with a hook in there, and turn, and same thing, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might want to use this if the wire's thicker and you need a little more power, but for something that's relatively thin, I usually just use the power of my finger. Like this. And another question that Susie had off camera, she's like, but what am I gonna do? Ones, if I go the wrong direction, I'm like, remain calm. The bright side is, if you end up mixing them up and you start twisting the wrong way, you will see it immediately, because it will start to untwist. You'll be like, oh, fuck, that's not right. Do you know what I'm saying? So you think it's a big deal, it really isn't. You would immediately see it and go, oh, oops, and start going the other way. So I promise, nothing to be afraid of, okay? So counterclockwise. See what I mean? You can just, you see how it twists, and it's not super even in the beginning, but it'll even out. And also I'm pulling a little bit. I mean, not so much that I'm trying to rip it out of here, and you can see I need to anneal, because then you let go of the pressure and it starts to untwist. Okay, so I'll do a little bit more just to piss it off. I mean, this is 22 karat wire, which is pretty forgiving. And I'm gonna stop and we're gonna anneal. And really that's what you do, is you just keep going back and forth. You anneal and you twist, you anneal and you twist until it's all beautiful and tight. Now, depending on how OCD you wanna get, for us, we think it's done when the little circles pretty much are straight up and down. Do you know what I mean? They look like a stack of circles rather than too much like off to the side. You know what I mean? Like, and they start off kind of wavy and then they kind of end up there. But there's no right answer. You find your own level of OCD that you enjoy and you embrace it, okay? So we're gonna stop and anneal, but basically that's it. This is something, I love New York, it's so peaceful and you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck is that? At any rate, well, maybe we'll edit that out, who knows? This is just like low tech, really easy to do. And someone was asking before, like, wait, I don't understand what you mean about the flex shaft in your eyeballs. Okay, so if you do this in a flex shaft, what happens is all the stress is at this point at the end, which is the point that's gonna wanna break anyway. But if you do this, it's a little more gentle. When you do it in the flex shaft, you're like, and it pops out. That is the noise it makes, so do not laugh at me. And it really does like swing around in the air. I mean, I don't really recommend you try it for yourself to see what happens, but that cut it, like it just, and it's, you know, all eyeballs are fair game, I'm telling you. If you see it, you're like, oh, that does not look good. So also being a person who's in the studio all the time, I don't like to recommend things to people that will poke their eyes out. So if you feel you can do it without poking your eyes out, go right ahead, but I'm gonna say, why don't we just do it like this and keep both of our eyeballs? All right, we're doing it. It's happening.
It's happening.
So I just want to show you, this is something that can happen if you pull a little too hard. Well, also this will just happen eventually anyway. Right where the little head is there, that's where a lot of stress goes, and it can pop off like this. And of course, Susie came over like, no.
Love your imitations.
I think I do that beautifully. You have to really like that inner howl of horror. But see, the great thing is that we're always super calm because we've seen all this fuckery 1,000 times before. So we're like, no worries. I'll show you how to make a new end. So what you're gonna do is I'm gonna take this out of here. And I'm gonna take some chain nose pliers. Normally I would stop and anneal this, but we'll pretend for movie land that like we did that. I'm gonna grab the end like this, and I'm gonna start twisting it the opposite direction. You see how that starts to open right there?
Oh.
You see what I mean? And then that's your new lollipop. Okay, so totally no big deal. And yes, and next time, really, we definitely annealed this before we did this. We would never just do it right out of there because that would be wrong. I'll just do it a couple more twists. So you see what I mean? How like I left a little bit right there, I grabbed it, and as you twist it the opposite direction, you see what I mean? It just opens up, and then when we go to do it again, you know, that'll go right through there. You see what I mean? Easy peasy. Always remember, any like fuckery or problem you have in the studio, like it has happened to all of us a billion times already. Do not freak out, just think, who can I ask?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Heart attack? That wasn't very good.
Retake. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of people have had the same problem. Very few problems are actually complete like start over things. So just relax. Fuckery is the norm. There's answers to pretty much everything.